These are things that hurt a narcissist the most, more than what you can imagine. Narcissists, despite their tendency to portray themselves as victims, or as the aggrieved party in many situations, are often far more sensitive than they appear. Their egos, which are highly inflated, are also exceptionally fragile and easily wounded. While they may seem impervious to outside opinions, the reality is that their sensitivity can make certain situations or remarks deeply painful. However, it's important to note that not all comments or situations affect them equally. Some criticisms or challenges hit much harder, striking at the core of their self-perception. In this discussion, we'll explore what truly gets under a narcissist's skin and how you can approach these situations with empathy and understanding to navigate such dynamics more effectively. One of the most significant triggers for a narcissist is criticism, particularly when it undermines their carefully crafted sense of self-importance, superiority, or control. Any remark or action that challenges their perception of being invincible or infallible can feel like a personal attack. When their sense of dominance is questioned, they are likely to react with intense emotional outbursts. This reaction may include anger, denial, or even aggressive behavior as they try to regain their perceived position of power. In some cases, they might even demand retribution or escalate the situation further. Because of this, it is crucial to approach disagreements or conflicts with extreme caution and tact. Being mindful of how you communicate criticism can help de-escalate potential confrontations and avoid unnecessary tension. Another scenario that can deeply wound a narcissist is criticism or rejection from someone they hold in high regard. Narcissists often crave admiration and approval, especially from individuals they esteem. When these individuals openly confront or criticize them, it can strike a devastating blow to their sense of self-worth. This type of rejection not only damages their fragile ego, but can also make them feel vulnerable and exposed. For someone who spends so much effort maintaining an image of perfection and invulnerability, this can be especially difficult to process. They may react defensively, attempting to shift blame or dismiss the critique entirely to protect themselves from feeling inferior. When dealing with a narcissist, it's helpful to recognize that their behavior is often driven by deep-seated insecurity. Beneath their confident or arrogant exterior lies a fragile sense of self that they work tirelessly to shield from harm. To achieve this, they may rely on deception, manipulation, or creating a false image to mask their genuine emotions. Understanding this can help you approach interactions with greater patience and empathy, even if their actions can feel challenging or hurtful at times. Recognizing their insecurities doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but it can allow you to respond in a way that minimizes unnecessary conflict and fosters a more constructive dynamic. It is important to remember that narcissism is widely recognized as a legitimate mental health condition, which means that narcissistic individuals are often driven to act in self-centered ways as a result of deeper psychological struggles. This behavior is not entirely within their control, as it stems from a combination of factors such as their internal insecurities, unresolved fears, and an overwhelming need for validation. Understanding this aspect of narcissism does not excuse or justify their harmful actions, but it does provide us with a framework to approach them with greater empathy and a willingness to understand the pain they may be experiencing beneath the surface. In many cases, what narcissists truly need is compassion, patience, and support as they navigate their own emotional turmoil and challenges. That being said, it's essential to strike a balance when dealing with a narcissist. While it is important to approach them with kindness, it is equally important to protect yourself from being drawn into their manipulative tendencies or enabling their destructive behavior. One common tactic narcissists use is hypocrisy, often as a tool to manipulate and win favor. They may present themselves as repentant or vulnerable to evoke your sympathy, counting on your generosity and mercy to grant them yet another chance. This is often a calculated move, as they rely on your willingness to forgive and overlook their previous behavior to regain control of the situation. Recognizing this pattern is key to maintaining a healthy dynamic and ensuring that their actions do not go unchecked. To avoid falling into the trap of enabling their behavior, it is critical to set firm and clear boundaries. Establishing limits is not only a way to protect yourself from emotional harm, but also a way to signal to the narcissist that certain behaviors are unacceptable. Without boundaries, the cycle of manipulation and self-serving actions is likely to continue, ultimately leading to further frustration and hurt on your part. By being consistent and assertive in enforcing these limits, you can create a healthier environment for both yourself and the narcissist, giving them an opportunity to reflect on their actions without resorting to manipulation. Now that we've explored the importance of compassion, boundaries, and understanding in dealing with a narcissist, let's move on to a more specific and practical discussion. There are certain actions or situations that are almost guaranteed to wound a narcissist's pride and feelings, revealing the vulnerabilities they work so hard to conceal. These reactions often stem from their heightened sensitivity to criticism and their need to maintain a sense of superiority. To better understand this dynamic, I'll share 3 specific ways that are known to hurt a narcissist's feelings, along with insights into why these approaches affect them so deeply. Let's delve into these points without further delay. First, being scrapped and thrown out. When it comes to constructive criticism, narcissists are notoriously sensitive, often to an extreme degree. Their egos are fragile, and even the slightest hint of critique can feel like a personal attack, threatening their carefully constructed image of superiority and perfection. They struggle to separate feedback from judgment, making it difficult for them to handle any form of criticism without reacting defensively or aggressively. This heightened sensitivity is deeply tied to their constant need for approval and validation. Narcissists dread being alone because, without a steady stream of affirmation from friends, family, or acquaintances, they feel a profound sense of emptiness. Their self-worth is heavily dependent on external validation, making them unable to function independently or feel secure without the help of others. Once someone becomes entangled in a narcissist's web, it can be incredibly challenging to break free. Narcissists have a way of enmeshing themselves in the lives of others, creating a dynamic where they dominate and control the relationship. This sense of control is further amplified by the rise of social media and instant messaging platforms, which have provided narcissists with a new arena to feed their need for admiration. In the digital world, they have constructed an idealized version of themselves, carefully curating their image to attract endless praise and adoration from followers and acquaintances. This online utopia allows them to thrive in a space where physical presence or genuine emotional connection is not required, something that would be challenging for most people to sustain. Unlike others who rely on face-to-face interaction and meaningful relationships to feel connected, narcissists can derive all the satisfaction they need from the constant influx of online compliments and attention. Every like, comment, or message serves as fuel for their ego, reinforcing their sense of importance and superiority. This unending stream of virtual praise is enough to sustain their distorted sense of reality and soothe their insecurities, even if only temporarily. In many ways, social media has become a lifeline for narcissists, enabling them to maintain their fragile self-esteem without confronting the deeper emotional issues they try to avoid. For narcissists, this digital feedback loop provides a sufficient substitute for authentic connections. It allows them to keep their exaggerated fantasies and convoluted fears alive, all while avoiding the vulnerability that comes with real-world relationships. The validation they receive online feeds their need for dominance and admiration, giving them the illusion of control and fulfillment. However, this reliance on virtual affirmation further isolates them from genuine emotional growth, perpetuating a cycle where their insecurities remain unaddressed and their need for external validation only grows stronger over time. In the end, this dependence on superficial praise leaves them trapped in a shallow existence, unable to form meaningful connections or face the deeper truths about themselves. The narcissist's second greatest dread is being exposed. Some of my thoughts on this topic have been addressed in my previous work, so I'll avoid repeating too much of what I've already discussed. However, it's worth highlighting a well-known truth about narcissists. They are deeply invested in maintaining a specific image of themselves. Everything they do is carefully calculated to support the persona they wish to present to the world. This projection often involves weaving a web of small or even significant lies, each one designed to enhance their appearance of being more intriguing, capable, or successful than they truly are. For a narcissist, their identity is tied to this illusion, and maintaining it becomes the central focus of their existence. Every action, decision, and interaction is driven by this relentless pursuit of a facade that reflects perfection and superiority. At the core of a narcissist's behavior is an overwhelming fear of being exposed for who they really are. The prospect of their carefully constructed world unraveling is more than just unsettling, it is utterly unbearable. When the cracks in their illusion begin to show, and the reality they have tried so hard to suppress begins to surface, the experience can be devastating. To a narcissist, this isn't just a blow to their pride, it's a complete collapse of their sense of self. Watching their false image disintegrate and feeling powerless to stop it brings a profound sense of pain and humiliation. For someone who has spent so much time and energy on fabricating a flawless persona, the realization that others might see through their deception is a crushing blow. The unbearable nature of this experience stems from the fact that the narcissist's sense of worth is entirely dependent on external validation. They have no internal foundation of self-acceptance to rely on, so when their external image is challenged or dismantled, they are left with nothing but their insecurities and fears. The collapse of their illusion isn't just the loss of a facade, it's the loss of the very identity they have built their life around. This is why they cling so desperately to their lies and manipulations, doing everything in their power to maintain the illusion of success and control, even as it begins to crumble. For a narcissist, the thought of facing the truth about themselves is too painful to bear, so they double down on their efforts to preserve the image they've created. Yet, as the cracks widen and their world falls apart, the emotional toll is inescapable. The agony of watching their constructed identity disintegrate is a reminder of the fragile foundation on which their entire existence is built, leaving them vulnerable and exposed in a way they work tirelessly to avoid. Being insulted is the third and final thing that will affect narcissists the most. Narcissists possess enough self-awareness to understand the effects of their words on those around them. They are acutely aware of how their remarks can influence and manipulate others, and they use this knowledge to their advantage. It is no secret that narcissists often resort to dishonest and manipulative tactics, using words as tools to wound or control those they interact with. Despite their apparent confidence and calculated demeanor, narcissists are highly sensitive to constructive criticism. Any critique of their behavior or character can cut deeply, as it threatens the carefully curated image they work so hard to maintain. When dealing with narcissists, being completely honest with them is often perceived as a mistake. This reaction is rooted in their inability to separate their constructed persona from their true self. Any form of criticism, no matter how well-intentioned or constructive, is seen as a personal attack. Narcissists interpret such remarks as direct challenges to the identity they have crafted and the sense of superiority they depend on for validation. Over time, it becomes apparent that narcissists are particularly vulnerable to insults and negative feedback because of their underlying insecurities and paranoia. Their confidence is more fragile than it seems, and even minor critiques can leave them feeling exposed and threatened. Beneath their confident facade, narcissists are plagued by imperfections that they desperately try to hide. Unfortunately for them, these flaws are not easily concealed forever. Once their vulnerabilities are exposed, and they are forced to confront reality, their constructed world begins to crumble. This exposure can leave them feeling defeated and incapable of processing even the most basic truths about themselves. They struggle to grasp concepts that challenge their self-image, making it difficult for them to grow or evolve. Their inability to accept reality further highlights the gap between the person they pretend to be and the person they truly are. There are, however, certain things that consistently have a negative impact on a narcissist. Their weaknesses are often evident once you understand their patterns of behavior. While they may present themselves as clever manipulators, capable of bending others to their will, their fear and insecurity lie just beneath the surface. Narcissists are both cunning schemers and fearful individuals, driven by the need to mask their vulnerabilities and maintain control. Their reliance on manipulation stems from their deep-rooted fear of losing the admiration and validation they crave. As we wrap up this discussion, it's worth emphasizing the importance of recognizing these traits in narcissists and understanding the impact of their actions. Dealing with narcissists requires patience, awareness, and careful navigation to avoid becoming entangled in their web of manipulation. For now, that concludes our exploration of this topic. Wishing everyone a wonderful rest of the week, and thank you for taking the time to listen and reflect on these insights. Your attention and engagement are truly appreciated, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the future.